Hello YouTube, I'm Eugene Cap and you're watching The Comic Shop. Guess what? We've had some just major changes to the format. We are no longer a podcast, we are now a vlog, which honestly it's not that much of a difference except for the fact that you can see my face, and in retrospect we probably should have stayed to a radio format. That was an ugly joke if you didn't get it. Anyway, it's been like 3 months since we've had an episode, and so sorry we haven't had a chance to get back to you. It's literally been, Pat decided to leave the show. We tried to find somebody else to basically take over the show since I'm also doing the cap and design stuff. But, you know what? I figured, hey, there's at least 50 people who've signed up, subscribed, whatever, friended us through the trials and tribulations of which we have become. So anyway, it's now that point that we're starting season 2. This is basically going to be the first episode, and we are going to love the fact that you guys have decided to stay with us, or if this is you just watching us for the very first time, thank you so much as well. We are no longer going to be discussing topics rather than just me covering the news and little things that are happening in the nerd world on basically comic books, video games, and just genre-esque movies. So let's jump in it, shall we? So I just watched the Assassin's Creed Revelations trailer, and it looks pretty badass. Like, I guess we're kind of getting to the point where you don't necessarily need another Assassin's Creed game. It's starting to get to the point where it's just very they're being produced almost too fast. I mean, at the point where you're getting done with one game, they have another one kind of coming out. And if you're like me, you don't necessarily have enough time to play every single awesome game that's coming out all at once. That's not necessarily a bad thing according to the market, but to the player where it's like, what am I going to play right now? There's so much stuff, especially during the holiday season. But it does look badass. I'm going to pick it up eventually, I guess, once I get done with the last one that came out. I still have a copy of Brotherhood just kind of sitting there. Do need to get to that. In other video game news, if you're really into like web series, like I like web series. I've been watching the Dragon Age stuff recently over at Machinima. Whenever the Guild's on, actually that just kind of makes me a Felicia Day fan. If I was Captain Hammer, I would nail Felicia Day. just kidding. Honestly, if she was in front of me, I probably would do this. But anyway, there's this I can't believe that they're actually doing this. Like a few years ago, I saw the trailer for a Halo movie, and it just never got done. It was basically cut down in the process, and it was never brought to full production. But I guess they're having a non-official Halo web series, which I'm actually really excited about. Like, not necessarily like it looks like it has like a high enough budget to be extremely successful, but from what I have seen, it basically goes back to the old ODST team, where it's like the very first time where they've come into contact with the Covenant. Of course, in the big long history of Halo, you know, spanning 5 games, I guess. You know, you should have a retrospective point where the human race does meet the Covenant, and I guess this unofficial web series is kind of trying to explain that. Down below, I'm actually linking to the video, which I recommend. If you are a Halo fan, definitely go and watch it. If you're a fan of web series, I would say go watch it. But if you're not neither of those, you know, skip on by it, go to the next thing. You know, let's talk Spider-Man for a minute. Like, I'm a fan of the web swinger. You know what I mean? Pat, when he was here, every friggin' episode, he would basically talk about how Spider-Man is the greatest superhero ever, but he is basically the most cursed superhero to ever be put on Broadway. They've now had 6 actors basically hurt on the set of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. They've had actors who have like tried to just swing from the balcony and get hurt. The newest injury to basically come off of this $70 million production was just basically a head wound, like during the second act, backstage, and I guess he's going to be just fine. Probably ended up having some stitches, according to the news article. If you want to read more about it, click down below. It seems like every video game internet service right now is pretty much being hacked, and Steam being the newest hacked. I thought I'd basically give you a couple of tips to basically help keep you safe and your credit cards away from, you know, thieving scum. Every 30 days, if you're using a big internet service and you're basically afraid of being hacked, like as if you're using Steam, also change the password on your email account, because that's basically they track the two. And then the third tip that I can possibly give you is just keep an eye out on your statement. Make sure there aren't any weird transactions that you don't necessarily approve. And if for some reason you see something even as small as like a $5 purchase that you're like, I don't remember buying this item, or tickets to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, call your bank. Make sure that your credit basically isn't in jeopardy, because that does get very serious very fast. I mean, it could be just like a $5, $10 purchase here, but what about down the line? I mean, there's good hacking, and then there's, you know, just, you know, thieving, malicious thievery. So, yes, I realize a lot of you are very visually inclined to look at pretty girls, and it's not necessarily a thing where I'm like, go watch porn, because, well, honestly, I don't watch it. It just seems like a waste of time to me. But what I have done, I am a big fan of cosplay, and I did find a gallery of basically their butt shots of different cosplayers, but a lot of them are just really, really tastefully well done. There's this particular one that shows Fairchild from Gen 13. That's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, like, the costume is done to a T, and that alone is almost worth, like, here you go, now you can oogle. Anyway, that is my show. Again, subscribe. We are still having the contest if you would like to enter. We're still taking up to the first 100. We're still collecting prizes, and we will be sending them out as soon as we hit that 100 subscriber mark. Anyway, thanks again. Enjoy your world, and we will talk to you next time.